Jim Feig, coming back to you from South Bridge Street Live with my wisdom for today, my word of wisdom. And I'm going to talk to you, I've got a little story for you today about a king and a beggar. And the theme for this has been running around in the back of my head since my college days, and that was too long ago to remember. So I don't know if this is my original idea or whether I'm borrowing this theme, but the story itself is mine. So if I've borrowed this theme, I'd like to give credit, but I don't know who to give credit to. Maybe some of my listeners will know that. Okay, this is about a story of a king and a beggar. Once upon a time, that's a good way to start a story, I guess. This occurred a long time ago at a different place and time than we are today. Back in the days of these knights and kings that you see on the picture today on the screen. There was a king, a very prosperous king. He is in charge of a kingdom and had many cities and towns and villages in it, and it was full of very prosperous, happy subjects. He was a well-liked king and a very generous king. Now, in this kingdom, there lived a beggar. Lived in one of the cities, and the beggar eked out his living by sitting at the city gate with his alms cup, and he would hold it up and cry, "Alms for the poor! Alms for the poor!" And he'd get a few little coins each day and thereby make his living. Well, one morning the king looked out and said, "This is a beautiful day. I need to get out and see what my subjects are doing." So he says, "Make ready the carriage. Make ready the trumpeters and the staff bearers and the footmen and the guards and the horses, and we're going to go out and tour the kingdom." So they hustled and bustled and got everything ready, and off the parade went. The carriage was being led by the trumpeters announcing the king coming, and the flag bearers announcing his presence. The guards brought up the rear of the coach just for protection, and the king was out there visiting his subjects. Now, as they say, he was a popular king. He was well liked by his subjects. So when the subjects heard the king was coming to visit, they lined the highways and the byways and the streets and the alleyways. Any place where they expected the king might come through, they lined the roads so that they could see this fine king that they had ruling their kingdom. Now, when the beggar heard about this, he said, "Oh, this is my opportunity. Why, our king is so prosperous and so generous that he might give me just the smallest wee bit of his kingdom, and that would make me a wealthy man for my life. I need to get out there and with my alms cup and join the king, visit the king." So as he hears the king coming off in the distance, he's pushing his way up to the front of the crowd. And as the king comes in the gate of the city, he's there waving his alms cup, "Alms for the poor." And the king's carriage stops right in front of him. His heart is thumping. What's the king going to give him? Some grand gift? The king stops and he looks down at the beggar and he reaches down with his hand. He opens his hand and he says, "What do you bring for me today?" This took the beggar aback. The king begging from the beggar, "What do you have for me today?" The beggar didn't know what to do, so he dug in his alms cup and he pulled out the least little smallest coin he could find in there, and he placed it in the king's hand. And the king rode off in his carriage. And the beggar just stood there dumbfounded. What a cruel thing to do. The king actually begging from the beggar, he thought. Well, the rest of his day was not very good. The people weren't in the mood to give alms. They were more in the mood to celebrate because the king had come through. So he went home that evening with just a few coins in his cup. He dumped them out on the table to count them. And as he was counting, he found a surprise in there. There among the coins was this least little bit of fine, refined, pure gold, sparkling and glittering. The king had left him an alm after all, one that matched the size of the gift that he gave to the king. Then he realized, if he'd only given more, he may have been a wealthy man today. But no, if he'd only been more generous, if he'd only given his best, he could have been the wealthy man that he dreamed of. He got back in return all that he chose to give. Well, what about you? We're talking about kindness and generosity here. And my philosophy has always been that life's greatest values come not from what you take out of your world and claim for your own. Your greatest values are what you put back into the world for the benefit of others. So, what I encourage you today is to seek out where you can be of help. Where can you be generous? There are people out there that need your help. Where are they? In the nursing homes, in the places like Christ's Kitchen, in the homeless shelters. People that could use your help. There are worthwhile organizations out there that always need more help in the way of volunteers. I'm in a couple right now, and I could probably find a couple for you if you ask me. There are many good causes out there that need support. What can you do to support them? In other words, what can you do today to make this a better world? I'm going to close with a little poem that Adam Lindsay Gordon wrote. Sort of expresses this idea a little bit. Adam Lindsay Gordon said, "Question not, but live and labor, till yon goal be won, helping every feeble neighbor, seeking help from none." He says life is mostly froth and bubble, but two things stand like stone: kindness in another's trouble, courage in your own. Jim Feig, coming from South Bridge Street Live. We'll see you next time.